Hillary. In today's program, we will be interviewing and learning a little more about the life of Edmund Hillary.
Before having the interview with Sir Edmund Hillary, Vale and I wanted to tell you more about the backstory of his life and how he became as well known as he is now.
New Zealand mountaineer and explorer, the first to reach the top of Everest, a beekeeper by trade but with great experience as a climber and mountaineer. In 1953, he was chosen by Colonel C. John Hunt to complete his expedition to Everest. Then, Hillary, accompanied by Sherpa Tenzing Norgay, tried to reach the summit on May 29, and then stepped on the roof of the world for the first time, 8,838 meters at 11:30 a.m., stopping there for barely a quarter of an hour.
The news reached London at the time of the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II on June 2. Upon his return to England, the 34-year-old veteran Hillary was knighted by the Queen. He was made honorary president of New York's Explorers Club, and during the 1970s, he returned to the Everest, but this time not to climb it, but to help the Nepalese population build schools and hospitals, pursuing the New Zealand government to send the necessary help, both economic and technological.
After having known a little more about the history of Sir Edmund, we can spend with our partner Val Medina will interview the explorer and will give us more information.
Good morning, my name is Val, and today I'll be interviewing Sir Edmund Hillary. Woo! What was the first thing you did after you got better from your Second World War injury?
Well, I continued with my dream of climbing the Mount Everest, and later I climbed the New Zealand's highest peak.
How did you get enough energy to climb Mount Everest?
Well, for that one, first of all, I was very fit and I have like a lot of climbing experience, so that helped me a lot.
I was wondering if you have any thoughts of the tragedy of 1996 on Everest, in which many people died. For example, do you think unacceptable risks were taken? What might you have done different?
Well, many people have been getting too casual about climbing Mount Everest. I have a forecast of disaster many times.
What was the biggest help for you to reach your dream?
Well, in 1951, the British government gave me permissions in order for me to go to the expedition to Mount Everest.
What other mountains you have climbed compared to Everest? Can you think of another peak that challenged you as much as Everest?
Other mountains have more difficult routes than Mount Everest, but none have at least 800 feet of extreme height.
What was the most difficult part of your adventure?
Well, I think that the most important thing is the strong motivation is a really crucial factor in order for you to get to the top of your goal.
I know by reading your book that you are a very courageous man. But was there a time up on Everest when you were scared? Can you describe us what was happening?
Well, I was very scared the first time that I was there on Mount Everest, and I think that is part of the journey, the fear is also part of the journey that you need to pass in order to achieve your goal. Even though when I fall down, it was really scary. But I think that is part of the way.
What did it look like up that high on the mountain? How long did it take you to climb Everest?
It was a long trip. From the summit, we could see at least 100 miles in every direction. It took us 7 weeks to go from the camp to the top of the mountain, but only it took us 3 days to come down.
How did you feel when you reached the top of Everest? Were you able to see anything? What did the world look like from up there?
On the summit of Mount Everest, I had a feeling of great satisfaction to be the first person to be there. We could see a vast distance in every direction, and mostly every mountain, glaciers, and high plateaus. So it was like a really good experience for me, like being there.
How does it feel to be called Sir? Was it like being knight? That must be cool.
Well, becoming a sir is slightly uncomfortable at first. Although it is a considerable honor, it is amazing how quickly you become accustomed to it. I still have the same friends and the similar way of life, like the life that I normally used to have. The actual thinking took place on Buckingham Palace by the Queen of England, so it was like a really important event, and it was like really big and impressive ceremony that I never imagined that I could be like the one that they were like celebrating. So that was like a really an experience that I would never think that happened to me.
Thanks for turning on today's program. See you tomorrow.
Fine, little star.